What's going on, guys? Welcome to your first Java game applet development tutorial of the Java game development applet tutorial series. What we're going to start learning about is creating games for our web browser if we want to put it on our website, stuff like that. The way we're going to embed our code into a website, and also yeah, that's pretty much it. We're just going to create some simple games, give you guys the concepts you need to create games in general for Java, and all that good stuff. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a new project. Hopefully you guys have Java set up already. If you don't, check out our other series like the Java 1.0 or 1.1 tutorial that we have on mybringback.com, and get Java set up, all that stuff, and Eclipse as well. So after you have that all set up, we're just going to create a new project. We're going to call this web game, and well, bam, there we go. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new class, call this starting point. If you guys have followed the previous series that we have on my Bring Back, which hopefully you guys have, otherwise this might be a little bit fast paced, but the first thing about a web applet is we don't need the public static void main method that we have pretty much with all of our applications of that we've built in the previous series. All we're going to do for a web applet is say extends applet, and shabam, there we go. The next thing that we got to do, we got to import our applet. Pretty simple, pretty basic. And we're getting a little caution thing, but don't worry about that. So now that we've set up a Java applet, what is an applet? What does it do? Basically, it's just a smaller application. We are limited on functions and features and stuff like that. But it's pretty easy to embed in your website, and we can create simple games with applets. So let's jump into it. Let's see how they work. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go within our brackets of our starting point class. We're going to hit Control space, and we have some methods that we can use. And the first method we're going to use is called initialize. Control space init, and that's basically what's going to be called the first time this applet's ever been browsed or called upon. So we're just going to hit that. Bam, we got that set up, and we'll just kind of go in the order of how the applet works. So the next one we're going to create is called start. Alright, so the difference between start and initialize is initialize gets called once, the very first time you stumble upon this applet, and then after it calls the initialize method, it's going to call the start method. So the start method's always going to be called. We're going to be doing setting up some stuff within our start method, like our thread that we're going to be using for a game, all that stuff. So that's the difference between those two. Again, we don't have to put all these methods in there, but most likely we want the start method at least. And then we have some other methods that we can throw in there, like stop. Gonna hit that, and then also again control space for these. Destroy. And if you guys followed the Android series, these are kind of familiar, but if you haven't, that's cool. And then the last one we're going to do is we're going to hit control space, and we're going to say paint. This is going to paint all of our graphics to our applet that we're going to be using. I don't know exactly what game we're creating yet, but if we have sprites, we want to use it within the paint method. So again, if this looks confusing to you guys, don't worry about these super methods. We haven't really talked about those too much, I don't think, in the last tutorial series. We can just delete those, and there we go. We basically have our web applet set up, and in the next tutorial we're going to start coding a little bit and setting up some of these methods, what we want them to do, and all that stuff. So make sure you check it out. But this is the basic framework of our web application or web applet, and again, the initialize gets called, if you guys want to leave comments or whatever, the initialize method gets called the first time you view applet, and then it'll call the start method here. Whatever we have within the start method, it's going to be like, whoa, yeah, okay, I can do that, that's cool, blah, blah, blah. Set up our game, all that stuff. And then, these other methods like stop, this is when our applet stops basically, and destroy, when we destroy our applet, if we want to save some data from our game. We can do it within the destroy or within the stop. And then the paint is going to paint our graphics to our application, paint to the canvas if you guys watched the last series. But we'll get into using these later on within this series. again, hopefully you guys enjoy this tutorial series. It's kind of fun, but thanks again for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one.